Imagine looking up and seeing a man walking between two of the tallest buildings in the world. It sounds impossible, but it really happened. This is the story of Philippe Petit. Philippe Petit was born in France. When he was young, he did not want a quiet life. He loved magic, juggling, and walking on a rope. He practiced in streets and parks. He liked to surprise people, but he also worked very hard. For him, balance was not only a trick, it was an art. One day, when Philippe was a teenager, he saw a picture of two very tall buildings in a magazine. The buildings were not finished yet. They were the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. Many people saw them as offices. The young Frenchman saw something different. He saw a space in the sky. At that moment, he had a strange and strong dream. He wanted to put a wire between the two towers. He wanted to walk across that wire. It was a dangerous idea. It was also not allowed. But he could not forget it. For years, the picture stayed in his mind. The artist began to plan carefully. He studied the towers. He visited New York. He looked at the buildings from the street many times before. He studied the buildings carefully. He learned where the guards worked and how to reach the roof. He also practiced his art again and again. A walk in the sky needed more than courage. It needed patience, skill, and a calm mind. In August 1974, Philippe and a small team went into the towers with their equipment. They had a heavy wire, a long balancing pole, and many tools. They had to work at night, when most people were not watching, in the dark. The job was difficult. The buildings were very high, and the wind was strong. The team needed to move the wire from one tower to the other. This was one of the hardest parts. They worked slowly and quietly. They made mistakes, but they continued together that night. Before morning, the wire was ready. It was high above the streets of Manhattan. On the morning of August 7th, 1974, Philippe stepped onto the wire. Below him, the city was waking up. People were going to work. Cars and buses moved through the streets. At first, only a few people looked up. Then more and more people stopped. He was about 1,350 feet above the ground. He had no safety net. He had no safety rope. He carried a long pole to help him balance. Each step had to be careful. One small mistake could end everything. But he did not move like a frightened man. He moved like an artist. He walked from one tower to the other. Then he turned and walked back. The police came to the roof, but they could not go onto the wire. They waited and watched. Far below, people in the street watched too. Some people covered their eyes. Others could not stop watching. Nobody knew what would happen next. The young Frenchman did not only cross the wire once, he stayed there for about 45 minutes. He walked back and forth many times above the city. He smiled. He rested. He even lay down on the wire for a short time. For a few minutes, it felt as if the whole city had stopped to watch. For those minutes, New York looked up. Finally, Philippe returned to the roof. The police arrested him because his walk was not legal at all. He had entered the towers without permission. He had done something very dangerous, but many people did not see only a crime. They saw beauty, skill, and imagination. Later, the charges against him were dropped. Instead, he agreed to give a free performance for children in Central Park. It was a surprising ending to a surprising day. His punishment became another show. Philippe Petit's walk became famous around the world. People wrote about it in newspapers. Years later, films told the story too. The films included the documentary Man on Wire and the movie The Walk. The event was real, but it still feels almost impossible to many people. Today, people remember the walk for many reasons. Some remember the danger. Some remember the beauty. Some remember the Twin Towers in a peaceful moment before they became part of a much sadder history. Few people would ever try something like this. Yet Philippe showed what years of practice and determination could achieve. On one morning in New York, a man stepped into the sky, and thousands of people stopped to look up.